What is going on? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason, and we are back once again with another show for you. Today, we're going to be reviewing two films. The first being The Old Guard, and the second being Driveways. So, two completely different films that we'll be talking about today. So definitely be a little bit of an interesting contrast on those two films for sure. One clearly, both of them are streaming, of course. We're pretty much only doing streaming films right now. The Old Guard is on Netflix, and Driveways is on Amazon, I believe.
Well, it's in several locations, but it's not a free one. It's not tied down to any one.
Yeah, you are gonna have to pay for it, and unfortunately, a lot of these movies that we're reviewing, you would have to pay for it if you're gonna want to watch it in some capacity. So that's just the reality that we live in. But it's still cheaper than going to the movie theater and paying $15 for a new film as well. So.
That's true, and another 15 for popcorn. So,
which is also true.
Yeah.
Don't forget the soda, and don't forget the candy.
Yeah,
because those are also very vital if you're going to go to the theater, which I haven't been to one in so long. I don't even know what that's like anymore.
I know. March, first week of March.
Yeah. Well, I say at this point, let's get into it.
Okay.
We are going to start with The Old Guard. And if you are okay, Jason, I'll have you start off and kind of give us a synopsis of that film.
Okay, sure. The Old Guard is a fantasy action film directed by Gina Price Bythewood. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's totally new kind of movie for her because she directed Love and Basketball and a movie called Beyond the Lights that I like. I like both of those movies quite a bit. This is totally different. It's about a group of mercenaries, I guess you could call them. I don't think it's really a spoiler to say that they are you're brought into the movie thinking they're human beings, and after about 15 minutes it's revealed that they're actually like immortal beings who basically have existed Charlize Theron has existed since the beginning of time basically, and they have come together as a group over time, and they just do random good in the world, but their identity has been outed. So they're kind of on the run from this evil pharmacy company that wants to basically experiment on them to come up with an immortality serum or something. Basically, that's it, more or less. It's all right. It's well made. It's got some good action sequences. I like Charlize Theron in anything. But I guess I'm just, and you know this, and anybody who knows me knows this. I'm over these kinds of movies. I'm over superheroes. I'm over immortal beings, for the most part. So, it's well made, but I just wasn't. It's not my kind of thing. So I just wasn't that, and it's pretty predictable. So if you're not already into the genre, and it's pretty predictable, it's kind of hard to keep your interest. And I can't say it kept my interest the whole way. I mean, it is well acted, some good action. Looks good, but it's a fairly generic story. I thought it felt like an off-brand comic book movie, and then I did a little reading about it afterwards, and it is a comic book movie, of course, because everything is a comic book movie these days. So I don't know. It was all right. It's not really my cup of tea. It's got to be something really special, like say Into the Spider-Verse, for me to really get interested in these kind of movies anymore. But this was not really it for me. So it was okay. Well done, but that's about all I can say. How about you, Kier?
No, I actually disagree with you on this one. I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it had great action. I thought it was a great story. And like I said, it's not a spoiler to say that they are immortal, that they basically regenerate, they can heal, they can die and come back to life, kind of thing. It's not a spoiler to say that, but going in, I didn't read much about it, so I really didn't know a lot of it going into it. So I was actually kind of surprised because there's a scene at the very beginning where it shows them basically all dead, and then it kind of comes back to it and shows them kind of regenerate and kind of come back to life. So that's when I realized that it was something different than just a standard I thought it was gonna be more like a extraction kind of film where they come in and they kind of like have a mission or Black Hawk Down, or they're like, group of people that go in and they have to like, save these kids in like this orphanage or something of that nature. But it ended up being a completely different film. I actually enjoyed it. I thought the action was good. I thought it was a well-made film. I thought it was fun. It wasn't overly long in my opinion. You could argue it's a predictable, but there's a lot of films that are predictable. We reviewed some other films that you love that are pretty predictable. You know what I mean? It just depends on what your genre and kind of what you're into. I enjoy action, and I think that if you enjoy action, and I can't say I'm a huge superhero guy necessarily. But I thought this one was fun. I thought it was a different take on superhero because essentially they're not, they really are human other than the fact that they're immortal in that capacity. I mean, they don't fly, they don't have special powers. They really don't even have superhero strength, I would say. I mean, they're good at fighting, but that's only because they've had so many years. They've had, since the beginning of time, basically, that they've been doing battle and war, and I guess just over the time, because they still hurt. If you shoot them, they're going to feel it. If you hit them, they're going to feel it. So they still have pain. They just regenerate quicker, or they come back to life if they're killed. So I kind of like that aspect of it. I think that's different. I mean, because, I feel like most of the superhero movies, they just fight each other and there's no feeling. They don't get hurt. They don't bleed. They don't, you know what I mean? They just keep moving for the most part, you know what I mean? And then they fight in some other villain that's exactly the same, just like them, but even stronger or something of that nature. And that's usually how those stories go that are really predictable. Whereas I felt this one was a lot different. So I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. I actually didn't think that it was like every other superhero movie that I saw. I thought it was different because they essentially are real people, like I said, other than the fact that they regenerate. And that's really the only major difference. But it's a good action movie. I thought it was a good story. Don't know if there's a sequel or anything like that. It seems like it was kind of leading up to that, but I've read some articles where there may or may not be a sequel to it. I'm not really for sure. But I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun film, and it's got decent reviews. Most people that I've talked to seem like they really enjoy it. So I definitely say it's a good film overall. So, which is my take. Oh. Hey, some people don't know how to have fun. Some people just don't enjoy.
Oh, I know how to have fun. I know how to have
fun. If you don't enjoy a good action film, then then that's not for you.
I love a good action film. This was a meh action film. So.
I disagree. So I think you're wrong.
Standard, plain cereal. That's about it.
No, it's fun. Check it out. You're gonna like it. It's a good film.
Don't bother. All right, moving on to something not like that movie at all.
No, not at all. Moving on to Driveways. I don't know the kid that well. I know Brian Dennehy's in it, and the girl I've seen in a couple things. I know she was in she's in the show, the Watchmen show. She's in there. She's like the yeah, she's in there. That's the only other thing that I really know off the top of my head that she's really in.
She's in Homecoming too on Amazon.
Okay, I haven't watched that yet.
That's a really good show. Really good show.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
Driveways is a very short and simple film. I think it only has like a running time of like 80-something minutes. So it's a very simple, short film. The gist of it is basically they're an Asian mother and son, single parent. And basically the mother, her sister recently passed away, and so she basically comes to the town that they live in order to kind of clean out the house in order to sell it. And Brian Denny in the house is a mess. I mean, so the lady was like a total like hoarder. It's so bad that the kid and the mother were staying in a hotel for a couple of days, and then when that they didn't really have enough money to continue staying in the hotel, they basically just slept on the porch because the inside of the house was so bad. I mean, we're talking dead animals, just stuff everywhere. Clearly, there was a stench that was in the house, and so basically they're tasked with kind of like cleaning out the house. Brian Denny, he's an older gentleman that's their neighbor, and the kid kind of befriends him, and the kid's kind of a loner a little bit. There's some other kids in the neighborhood that he doesn't quite really want to hang out with, so he's kind of more gravitated to Brian Dennehy's character. And I mean, that's kind of really basically it. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much the movie. there's not a whole lot of conflict, not a whole lot of it's a drama, if you will. There's a couple parts that maybe there's some humor in and that kind of stuff, but it's a very simple, short, and basic film. It's almost the kind of film that it's weird. It didn't feel long, of course, but because there's not a whole lot of conflict that happens, it almost feels long. You know what I mean? It almost feels like, but at the same time, it almost feels like they could have added a little more conflict in it and make it longer. You know what I mean? Which might have made it a little bit more interesting, I think, overall. I didn't dislike it. I mean, it's fine. It's a serviceable film, but not really one that I would have any reason to revisit because, in my opinion, I feel like nothing really happens, that really would make me want to revisit it or watch it again, or it's kind of one of those films that you almost kind of forget 5 minutes after you watched it, in my opinion, and kind of leave it at that. That's kind of my general take of Driveways.
All right.
What do you think?
Okay, so this, unlike The Old Guards to some extent, this is my kind of movie. I like character studies. I like slice of life movies. If you're reading like the synopsis of this movie, it sounds a lot like something like I love, like The Station Agent, something like that. Just like a slice of life.
Is funny.
Yes,
there's a lot of humor in that.
Hang on. So, well, I mean, I'm thinking what I'm building up to is that this seems to be my kind of movie, but I've more or less felt the same way you did. Like, there's just like it's the acting is really good. It's a very sweet-natured, likable movie. In theory, I like the idea that they didn't like manufacture conflict just because, but at the same time,
you kind of
because they're going for that slice of life thing. But at the same time, and the reviews for this are fantastic. So I thought I was going to love this to pieces. And again, like it's a likable movie. It's well made. The acting's good, but I feel the same way you did. Like it was almost barely even there. You know what I mean? It was kind of, even though it is only like 82 minutes long or something like that, it did feel a little long to me. You know what I mean? And it is kind of forgettable, unfortunately. Even though Brian Dennehy is great, Hong Chow is great, the kid is great. Yeah. So it's got all those elements, but overall, it's just kind of it's like a wisp of air. It's like gone in a second.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's like one of those films that I can't really fault necessarily anything wrong with the film because the acting's good, the story is decent, but it's like nothing really happens. You know what I mean? And I don't, there's even describing it to somebody. Well, what happens in it? Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Like you said, the Station Agent doesn't have a whole lot of, but it's more of a comedy. Boyhood is another film where if you were describing it to somebody, there's not a whole lot of conflict that happens in that film either. But that's a better character study because you're watching like this entire family physically grow older over time and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of interesting because you're basically watching kids grow from being kids to adulthood over the course of, I think 8 years or 12 years or something like that. I don't remember how old they become, but so there was a little bit more interest in those types of films. You know what I mean? So I feel like those ones are a little different. And then I enjoy both of those films as well. But this one, there's nothing like that in this film. There's no, nothing profound happens. I don't want to say it ends on a downer, but it almost kind of does. You know what I mean? With you're kind of like, okay, well, what happens now? You know what I mean? So,
I like the idea that like the unlikely friendship kind of thing between like the little boy who has no friends and the old war veteran who has his wife has died, so they're two people who are basically alone in the world, friends. You know what I mean? Like I like that idea. I like that basic idea, but just it's just too light. Like I said, it's like barely there. It's well done, but it's barely there. So
I agree. Yeah, it's just there's just nothing memorable or nothing that really happens and make me say that, you know, this is a great movie. I can't wait to see it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you kind of just forget about it as soon as it was over for the most part, I felt like. So
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
well, cool. Well,
All
that's
right.
that's the story of those two films. Let's talk about our ratings and our grades on these ones. So we'll start with the Old Guard. I'll start with you. What's your I guess your rating and the face you would give it?
I gave it 3 out of 5. You know, which is just slightly above average for me, like a C plus. So, nah. So I would give it this face, which is just maybe mostly flat, maybe just the tiniest hint of a smile. Because I mean, it's well done. It's just, not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely liked it a little more than you, and um, but you know, I feel like, you know, my grades are if I give them the 3 out of 5, I usually pretty liked it pretty much. I'm actually gonna give this one a 3.5 out of 5. It's only a half star higher, but I think I enjoyed it a lot more. It is one that I would revisit. It is one that I would personally watch again. I thought it was fun, and if they made a sequel, I would definitely be there to check it out. I thought it was a fun film. It was good action, and the face I would give it is this one, which is a smile with some teeth. So like I said, didn't love it. It wasn't like blown away by it or anything, but I thought it was a fun film. I thought it was a good action film and not a bad way to spend. I don't know what the running time is, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max.
Like 125, pretty long for me, minutes.
Oh, so 2 hours. I didn't even notice it was that long, to be honest with you. I thought it was kind of a brisk pace because, you know, a lot happens and it goes pretty quickly, and they tell a couple different stories of the different people that are immortal and that kind of stuff. So yeah. So for me, 3.5 and a smile with teeth, baby. And the next one is Driveways. Overall grade and the face you would give that one.
Driveways, I give actually the same rating, 3 out of 5. But I would give it a little bit of a higher letter grade. I'd give it a B- as opposed to a C+. Just because it is more my kind of thing. You know, I mean, like it did. I think there's more there to hold on to than with the Old Guard, which is the same story outline that I've seen a million times. So that'd be this face. Same one, just a little bit of a smile.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one. I think I'll give it like a quality 3. So like a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I liked it overall. Would I re-see it? Probably not. That's why I say it's a quality 3, because I can't fault anything really wrong with it per se. It just wasn't, you know, I can't say I was bored watching it, but it just didn't have enough going for it to where I could say I was really interested in it, and I really, really loved it. You know, it was like one of those films where I kept watching because I was into watching it, but I was hoping there was going to be some other sort of conflict or something that was going to happen somewhere that would make me like really go, oh wow, okay, cool, something interesting's happening now. But it just never happened. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5, and the face I'm going to give it is this one, which is pretty much just a slight smile, no teeth. So yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as always, we thank you guys for watching. If you like the channel, please like and subscribe, and then make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our future videos, because we try to upload at least 2 or 3 times a week. And we hope to see you guys all again real soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.